We're so glad you're here. This is our budget and update meeting, and it may sound non-important, but it very much is, because a budget is a missional story that we tell about what we're about, right? And our why is because we want to be the presence of God in the world. So this is good for us to... Okay, we ran out of annual reports. Never happens in the history of humanity. And they're going to make more. So welcome. Come on in. I promise this will be efficient and informative. All right. Just a reminder that members need to sign in. All are welcome to this meeting, but members are the ones who will be voting. So you're more than welcome to be part of this. Again, this is important because it's a story that we tell ourselves about what God has called us to in the way that we spend our money and our time. So that's what we're going to be doing. All right, I'm calling the meeting to order at 11:11 maybe, on Sunday, January 25th. I'm Kristen Wiersma, the council president right now, and I'm so thankful for your presence today. Quorum, what do you think? Okay, we think we have a quorum. We'll count, but we're going to go forward. I want to invite Pastor Jill forward. We're going to get Pastor Jill out of the hallway, where she's probably trying to get some of that delicious cake. Oh, Nikki has some more annual reports. And, yep. There's a sign-in sheet right there. Jill, have somebody else do that. I'm trying. I got to teach them how to be efficient. I invite Pastor Jill up now to do devotions.
Okay, we'll start with some breathing. Okay, so Pastor Daniel and I, a couple days ago, met with our clergy coach, who we meet with every couple months, just to talk about anything that we want to talk through ministry-wise, or, if I think Pastor Daniel's being an overbearing jerk, that comes out too. Of course, we got talking about the times and how everyone is doing. And she mentioned I think it was last weekend. Some of you might have gone and seen him, but Pádraig Ó Tuama, the Irish poet, do you know of him? He was in town, and he was speaking at several places. And Mary Kay Duchesne, who's our clergy coach, went and saw him. And if you don't know his work, I would go Google him because it's beautiful. I have several of his books. And she said that one of the things that he said that stuck with her was that I think it's human nature, right? We all want to make sense of the situation, right? Like, why is this happening? How can we think our way through it? And Pádraig was like, I think we need to focus less on making sense of the situation, and instead making music and making art and making joy and making relationships. And I thought that was just really beautiful. And so for a devotion, I want to teach you a protest song actually, that I just learned on Friday. 50,000 people were doing their marching thing in downtown Minneapolis. Myself and about 100 other clergy, we were in the headquarters of U.S. Bank, wanting them as a U.S. Fortune 500 company to use their voice for good. And someone taught us this protest song that I thought was so beautiful, so I want to teach it to you, and that will be our opening devotion. And so the words are, hold on, my dear ones, the dawn is near. Will come. Here comes the day. Don't sing it, I forget the words. All right, so I'm going to sing it through once, and then you can jump in. So it goes, hold on, my dear friends, here comes the dawn. Hold on, my dear ones, here comes the dawn. Hold dawn. Hold on. Hold on, my dear ones, here comes the dawn. Hold on, hold on, my dear friends, here comes the dawn. Let us pray. Good and gracious God, we are holding on. Some by the fingernails, some have maybe even fallen off already. We are tired of holding on, God, but that is what you call us to do, and we know that we do not hold on alone, but we hold on together. We are so thankful for this beloved community here at St. Anthony Park Lutheran. We are thankful for our siblings around the Twin Cities and churches and synagogues and mosques and people who put their faith in other things, who have come together to hold on together, to hold the line of love, to hold the line of hope, to hold the line in faith, knowing that the dawn will come. The dawn will come, God. So continue to give us the courage and the strength to meet the moment, to know when we need to step back, to recharge, and to know when the time is here for us to step forward and putting our love into action. We thank you, God, for this beloved community, for the news that we will celebrate today in our budget committee, for the decisions that we'll make for the future of this ministry. Guide our time together and give us the strength, God, to continue to hold on with love. In your name we pray. Amen.
Good words to hold on, dear ones. All right, so I direct your attention to page 4 of your annual report to review the minutes from the annual meeting from May 2025, which feels 1,000 years ago, by the way. Yep. So I give you just a second to peruse them, and then we will vote to accept them. Mary. Okay, Mary moves adoption. Do I have a second? Second, Nick Lane. Give you a minute. All right, are there any corrections to the minutes as distributed? All right. Any discussion? All right. At this time, I'd like, and all in favor of adopting the minutes as presented, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The same sign. Motion passes. That's not the hard stuff, right? That's the easy stuff. Okay, at this time, I'd like to invite Daniel and Jill to come forward for the co-pastor's report.
In the hard winter of 2021, I was sitting in my parents' basement because I had to shelter in place. I was serving a congregation in West Bend, Wisconsin, and the paperwork had come in for this congregation for me to look at. So I went online and started searching y'all up. And I found this really well put together video that might have been produced by, I don't know, maybe Hal Dragseth, I'm not sure. And it had Marie Lister speaking, and Pastor Jill and Pastor Glenn. I think Kent Eklund was part of this group. And it was the group that started everything that we're experiencing now. You know, I remember the video had these tender testimonies from leaders here about what you all were trying to envision this church to be for yourselves and for your community. And what came out of that was your really bold move in the co-pastor model, in the idea of wanting to be a faith-rooted center of action and connection. You've done it. And thank God we did it in time, amen? Because that started years ago. When I think of Jesus' parable of the mustard seeds, that small winnowing seed, you can hardly see it in your hand. That's how things start. And you all did that, and you've made this moment possible. This is a long, long game we're in. We all know that. This is going to take years, right? Not just of recovery, but that seed is being planted for transformation within this place of death. Not just getting back to the status quo, but to rely on the message of resurrection and opportunity and new hope, new ways of doing things and being. And we are modeling that. You've modeled it through your careful, intentional, prayerful work. Last night, when we were out here on the corner with so many of you and so many of the neighbors here, being able to represent our place here for people's sense of comfort and solidarity, it spoke so many volumes. And I was so proud to be a pastor here, to provide comfort and courage to the people here in this community and around the country. Y'all know some of the good trouble that Jill and I got in on Friday. We couldn't have done any of that without you. Say amen to yourselves. There is no way so many of our colleagues could have taken the risks that they did because their congregations were not where you are. So thanks be to God for you. Thank you for, putting up with us and allowing us to cast vision with you so that we could represent you and represent the love of Christ in this time and place. So I just don't want you to clap. I want Jill and I to clap for you. Will you do that with me, Super J? We're going to clap for this congregation in this moment. So just be quiet. Now listen to this. Come on, Jill. For St. Anthony Park. Come on. S-A-P-L-C. Now you can clap. Do you have any questions for us? I've got a wireless mic here if you'd like to pass it around. Are there any questions about anything regarding to the co-pastors that you would like us to address at this time? Okay, thanks be to God for you all. Thank you.
I also direct your attention to their co-pastor report if you want to read the deets. Okay, the Executive Council report is in your packet. It's page 14. It feels like a lot of administrative things, but that's important too. So you can take a look at that. One of the most important things was calling Jonathan Orwig and Lindsay for our Director of Worship and Music. We also have done a lot of work trying to align our committees all together. So we've had retreats, we've had half day with council members and their leaders to all get on the same page and dream together. So we're all pulling in the same direction. We cannot afford at this time to be kind of dispersed and moving in different directions. So that has been great. A lot of work with Isaiah. We launched the Joyful Noise Music School. There's just so much that's going on. I'll leave this to your reading, but I wanted to know if you have any questions for the executive team, which is Mike Retzler, who couldn't be here as secretary, Jen Olson-Kringle, and myself, and John Berger as our appointed treasurer. Questions? Yes, we've raised bail just in case they need it. Yes, Denny. Denny Ormseth was pointing out that along with the other list of things that we launched a Care of Creation team with Denny and a bunch of loving souls who are doing deep, deep work to understand from a faith perspective, the role that we play in the crisis around our creation. So please join them. They're doing a book study and regular conversation and hope to integrate this more into the work of the congregation. Thank you. Anything else? Okay, awesome. Making my job easy. All right, I call up now Jen Olson-Kringle, who is our vice president.
Hello. I am just here to acknowledge all of the printed reports that you have in your packet. There's a lot of information that will not be talked about in detail today, but I encourage you to read through that so that you understand and know what's happening. Many thanks to the pastors and many of the lay leaders who put together those written reports. So I don't have a lot to say about that, just we need to acknowledge that those are there for your review. And now I'm turning things over to John.
All right, good morning. As I told the council on, pull it up a little bit. There we go, how's that? Okay. As I told the council on Tuesday when we met, it was a pretty tough time at that time, thinking about what had happened before Tuesday. And now what happened yesterday makes it even a tougher time. And I asked them, are they ready for several unrelenting waves of good news? Because it seems like a good time to have some good news. And I do have some really good news to share financially. So to begin with, our goals for today, I will talk about what happened in 2025. We'll talk about our plans for 2026. And then I do have a mission appeal update at the end. All right, so for 2025, we ended up with annual or actual income of $775,800. This is 11% above last year. It's 4% above our budget, which rarely ever happens. Our expenses also were less than 2024. This had to do with, we had some open roles, as we know, and that reduces our staff costs. And we also had less maintenance or maintenance that was covered in the case of the sewer by a grant. So when we ended the year, we had a $53,400 surplus, which is wonderful. Really sets us up well for 2026. And if you look at it, our pledged giving was over $100,000 above what the pledge was. So our pledged giving last year was lower than it had been in prior years. People overgave to that pledge. So I put a pause to celebrate. Can't have too much fun in this case, right? So, all right, we'll move on. Cash flow by month. I put this chart up every time I report, and this huge bar at the end is the December giving. The December giving was $142,000, which is the highest December giving I can ever recall. There was some giving given ahead for 2026. Even if I take that out, that's the biggest giving December we've ever had in my time here. So, which is a long time. Thanks for reminding me. All right, so really nice. Financial structure, just a reminder, we have operating accounts like the checking account, the building savings account. These are over at Sunrise. We have dedicated accounts, so out of the checking account, we have committees that have money. We also have our mission appeal account, investment accounts. That includes the account we give our special ministry grants from and our new Bold Mission Fund. We have CDs. So I've moved over the course of this year several $100,000 out of the Sunrise accounts into CDs to make more money, basically, to have a better interest rate. And then we have a couple of debts that are working their way down. So that's what we keep track of. Those account balances, for the most part, did what we want them to do. Operating cash went up. Dedicated memorials went up. Our building savings went basically down a little bit, just flat for the most part. Permanent fund went up quite a bit. Building account stayed the same. Our organ investments also went up, and our mortgage went down. So all the sorts of things you'd want to see if it was your own accounts at home. We keep an accumulated surplus. If you remember, when I was here last year, we came out of a very tough 2024. We had a deficit. We had to use some of that surplus. So we were down to begin this year at $34,000, which is under, by a good margin, the 5%, the minimum that we want to see. Well, good things happened. Number one, I already talked to you about the surplus. We are taking that surplus and splitting it in two ways. One is you're going to see that we're using some of it to cover the budget. So we'll put some of it forward into the budget, really about the same amount that was given in 2025 for 2026. So we're basically honoring that. And we're also doing replenishing our capital accrual account. What this is an account that, in the case we have things like the sewer issue that happened or other things where surprises, say the boiler has another problem or whatever, I hate to even talk about that, but then we would have some money. So we put about $31,000 out of the surplus into that account. The big difference, the big thing that happened was, and this I don't think I talked a whole lot about because I never thought it would actually come to fruition, but there's an employee retention tax credit that was something that we could apply to. I applied to it a long time ago. It was delayed and looked like it was going to be cut off. And then, hey, guess what? A check showed up. So $96,600 showed up. So I say thank you to the government, which is rare, but yes, thank you. It comes from the government. It's similar to, we applied during COVID for the Paycheck Protection Program. This was a separate program, and it had to do with companies, or in this case, organization like us. If we retained our employees through that time period, we would get a tax credit. So we worked with our payroll company, and since we did retain all of our employees through that time, we applied for this tax credit, and we got it. So.
Does that amount show up in the operating income, or is it more on the balance sheet?
It does not. Yeah, great question. So the question was, does it show up in the operating income? Is that why it was so high, for example? It is not. What I did was directly put it into a dedicated account for the surplus accrued. And in fact, we created for the first time an accrued surplus account so that we can keep track of it officially. Any other questions there? All right, so good news here is we do have this carryout amount of $131,000. That is 14%. So we went from the absolute minimum of where we want to be in an accrued surplus account to more or less the maximum. And that protects us if we were to have unusual things happen to us that compromise our income. Now we have this buffer. It's a rainy day fund is another way to think of it. All right. Okay, I want to recognize all the folks. So Mary Armstrong in the office and Clergy Financial Services combined to do our bookkeeping and keeping track of all these things, which is awesome. And we have folks who do counting. So we have Brenda and Sonia and Catherine. And we have folks taking deposits, Sunday deposits to the bank. We have Solveig and Ev. This is all the sort of work that has to happen to make sure that all the receipts and all the cash gets where it's supposed to get to. I also thank the council and the committees for their work to monitor expenses and to participate in the budget process. All right, any questions on 2025 before I go? Yeah. Yep, there was a Benson grant. Jill, is Jill here? Does anyone, I don't know the origin of it or how we got it, but I know a check for $25,000 came into the church right about the time where we had a $20,000 bill to pay for the sewer. So it was like, okay, that's great. Yeah, God is good. So that's where the money came from. Other questions on 2025? All right. 2026 budget process, we do what we normally do. I collect projections from the committees, ask them what they want to spend on in 2026. We also talk about where our income might be, so I look in detail at the pledges. Both of those were unusual this year because we had a stewardship campaign that was much more directed than we've ever had in the past, as you probably all know. We identified certain goals we wanted to shoot for, right, as a congregation. And so there was some requests that went out in effect, basically for us all to see what we could do to pitch into that. And those added, of course, to the expenses. So it was a lot to take into account as we went forward. So I did some forecasting, brought that to the council on Tuesday. We talked through it to see if we had to make any adjustments, and then we bring you a balanced budget. So those are the top three here that are listed, are the top three things that we wanted to do. Number one, cover inflation, so pay our cost of living adjustment to all staff. Number two, an outreach coordinator part-time for the mission. And number three, a part-time accompanist to help Jonathan. Beyond that, we also identified adding summer music as a budgeted program. It has been a special ministry grant for about 3 years, and we're going to convert it into the main programming. And then also, if you've been in the back parking lot, it's, yeah, Mary is loving this idea. There's a lot of potholes there, hard for cars and even harder for people and carts and other things to get through there. So we talked about paving that and also upgrading the electrical. So the BMC had some things they wanted to get done. And of course, we want to balance the budget. So as a result, I want to say that the pledging program was very effective. We were able to see forecasted pledge giving of 819,000. So if you remember, we just came out of a year where we are at 775. We're talking about going up here. So it's a 33% increase to pledging. You'll see it's actually a 10% increase on the bottom line to our pledged forecast. Non-pledge giving went down. Typically, that's more like 100,000. What we had is some non-pledged givers convert to pledging. So that's a good thing, but it changes. I have to factor that in. So I had to dig into all the pledges very closely to make sure I didn't double count things. And we have the $22,000 transfer from 2025. So our budgeted or forecasted total giving for 2026 is 890,000 and change. So another pause to celebrate. And I would be remiss if I didn't give special thanks to Jill and to Diane Kreisen and the whole stewardship team for their excellent stewardship program. I told Diane that this has answered my prayers. I hate to go into budget process and have to ask people to cut things to balance a budget. And in this case, I didn't have to ask anyone to cut anything, which is fantastic. So work of the council, we did commission subject projection, or the commission subject submitted their projections. We made some key decisions. As I said, there weren't many to make, and we came out with a balanced budget. So we were able to accomplish everything on the list. The COLA to all staff, the part-time outreach coordinator, the part-time accompanist, summer music program as a program, the back parking lot, the upgrade of the electrical, and some other things I didn't mention, but basically I had to say no to nobody. Everybody got what they wanted. Caroline was telling me it's kind of like, you got a car, you get a car, you get a car.
Just a very quick insertion here. Our music program is so fantastic, and one of the things that we are so happy about with this report is that we get to celebrate Molly and Jonathan. So Molly gets to do her program year-round, thanks be to God, amen.
Amen.
And continuing education for Molly, which is just what she keeps bringing so many fantastic things to us. And Jonathan with an accompanist, that is really going to level up the choirs and our entire ministry. So I just wanted to insert that, John. Thanks.
Thank you so much. All right, so here's the details. Last year, we ended with $775,800. We are planning a 10% overall increase in giving to get to $890,500. We're using $22,001 and change out of the 2025 surplus to make that $890,000. We had the actual expenses in 2025 of $722,000. We are adding 23% up to $168,000 added to get to $190,500. So we are expecting a balanced budget for 2026. Our history of giving, just kind of, I put this up typically, and sometimes there are negative signs in this percent change column. There aren't very many at this point. The only ones really have to do with non-pledged giving going down, but our pledged giving was up, and the amount per pledge is up 19%, and the pledges are up 12%. So we got both an increase in people pledging and an increase in the amount pledged. So really great. Quick thing to think about, keep in your mind. The legacy giving option is out there. Caroline and I, just after years and years, finally did our wills and trusts. So we hadn't done it for many, many years, too many years. And as part of that, we were talking about where do we want to leave money? And this is a place where we want to leave money. So if you're thinking about that, now is the time. Any time is really a good time. Don't wait as long as we did to put your wills and trusts together and think about St. Anthony Park. And it can create an ongoing presence for what you're doing. You like the work that's done here. You don't want it to end when you pass on. You want it to continue. So this is a way to do that. And so we talk all the time about special ministry grants. That's what funds these great ideas that we have. We run them for 3 years, and then we decide whether we're going to bring them into the programming or not. This is a different thing with Bold Mission. What we do is we're putting together a fund, which we can take, again, 5% out, but that 5% can be given, it can be used for mission, vision, legacy, the music ministry, our location or building, and where needed most. So it can help over time with our operating expenses, which is not something that the special ministry grants does. So it's kind of different, but it's also just really important. All right, so summary, the budget is balanced. We gave all the staff their increases. We gave all the commissions their budget requests. We used some of the 2025 surplus to make that happen. And our surplus revenues or our accrued revenues for, in case the surpluses are up to 14% where we want them to be. We do have growth in the future, so we want to continue to support operations and the mission appeal. We have the mission appeal through the first few months of this year. You'll hear a lot more about that, where we're at with that. And then we want to continue to pursue growth as we always do. You want to do it? Okay.
I'll ask for a motion at this time to approve the budget as presented. Diane, and a second by Dave Christensen, wherever guy is. Okay, questions for John, not me. Can we celebrate a little bit here?
Woohoo! No, you go. I was just,
No, go
in
ahead.
case there were questions.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to celebrate in
No,
some
I mean,
profound
yes.
way.
Yay!
Yeah. Okay. All right. If there's no discussion, we'll move forward with the vote. Yeah? All in favor of this budget for 2026? Please say aye. Those opposed say nay, and we're going to find you. Okay, motion passes. We're so excited. Now we're going to move in a different direction. Is Dave? Come on up. We're going to hear about the music area extension project. And Dave, you're
And
back.
welcome back, Dave, Ryan Moberg. Woo!
I've never really left you. You're in my heart all the time. Before I say specifics, I want to give you a little bit of history. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, I was the choir director here. And during my reign, the sanctuary was remodeled. And the wall that you see back there was actually 8 feet farther back in the day. So we lost a lot of space. But we gained a robe room, which was very important. We needed that. So that gives you a little bit of background on that. In the meantime, our music program has grown. We have bell choir, we have kids choirs, we have adult choir, we have instrumentalists of all kinds, and from the community, we get other kinds of concerts and recitals coming in here. So to accommodate all of that, we would like to extend the musicians area outward. And if you saw in your bulletin the picture, the rendering that was done to give you an idea of what it will be like, it doesn't look all that much different, but it's a lot more square footage for us. And this picture actually does show the new organ as it will be. If you look carefully, you'll see it's quite a bit different. I don't know. Look at the picture. What is it, about 5 feet? 5'8"? Okay. Yeah. So the stairs will no longer go all the way across. The extension will come out and cover those stairs, and we'll have the stairway on the left and on the right as access up to there. So the organ itself, of course, will be up in the loft where the organ is now. It'll be quite a bit bigger. And there is going to be some remodeling of that space to accommodate the new organ. Ben Quee has been contracted to do that work. And that part of the construction is included in what you voted for when you voted the organ in initially. The cost of an extension to the music area was not included in that initial contract. So that's what you will be voting on today, is just the part for the extension of the music area. The console will be essentially where it is now. However, it will be movable. There will be 3 plugins, one on the left, one on the right, and one in the center. And so the organ can be moved around and make the space much more flexible. The piano, our newly refurbished piano, will also be up there as it is now, and there will be more room for that as well. As a director, I often would build with platforms out farther so that I could get away from the choir a little bit. When you're standing right over the sopranos, that's all you hear is the sopranos. So to be able to move a little bit farther away from the choir will be very helpful for the director. Also, if there's an occasion where the director wants to be playing the organ as the director leads the choir, the organ can be in that center position facing the choir and be able to accommodate that much easier. Let's see. I won't say much more. But the timing of all this, the extension needs to be done well ahead of the installation of the organ. The organ is very sensitive to dust and construction work. So it will be done in about a year from now, actually, the extension, in February of 2027, and then the organ will be installed later in 2027, after the dust settles. So I think that's all I really need to say. Yeah, except for some questions. I think it's going to be a valuable addition for the reasons I've already stated. And yeah, any questions? David? Is there going to be more lighting up there? Who knows the answer to that? I don't think we have plans for that right now. Other questions? Yes. Okay, how many seats will we lose for the congregation? I think what we figured was that we might lose 1 row. I used to zhuzh these chairs in various different ways, and you can gain a whole row back again, but just by moving each row 1 inch. So squish them together a little bit, but really we won't lose much. When the band is playing, right now we have them here. We might hopefully have more room for them up there, so we'll gain some space over on this end. Yes.
If I remember right, you'll be able to route electrical wires more safely than we currently do.
Thank you. Yeah, as a part of the extension, along the front edge of it, there will be an electrical chase or trough where there will be outlets, regular AC outlets, as well as the outlet for the organ, as well as microphone inputs. So none of those wires will have to go back to the back wall of the choir area anymore. Yes, David. He's also submitted a bid and for this project as well. And he wants to do all of that, both the remodeling of the loft area and the extension area all at the same time. Yes, Nick.
Do you happen to know if there'll be disruption while that's going on as far as space will be barriers?
There will be a, let's see, how does this go? I don't think there's going to be any disruption for while he's doing the extension part or the loft part. It's when the organ comes that we will have to be out of here for about 2 Sundays. So the organ is being built in Montreal. It will be assembled completely in Montreal, and then they take it all apart, bring it here. The pipes will be laid out all through this area. That's why we can't have the worship. And then they'll reassemble everything in our space.
Just a couple of comments. The QUI bid came in a couple of years ago. Nancy, how long ago was that? A couple of years ago at about 16,000. We're guessing things go up, so we're guessing probably at least 20. I don't know. But the way it's going to work for finances is that we just finished the annual ministry appeal. Thank you, stewardship. Next, we are going to finish our capital appeal, which will end in May, and we're going to have a big kick and a celebration. Write it down. It'll be Sunday, April 26th. We're having a big party in here, so get that on your calendar. Meeting the moment. Yep. And then we're going to have, when that's done, then we're going to have a concerted effort to raise the other amount of money that's needed for the organ, which is about $179,000 plus the extension. So that brings us to kind of 200,000. But that will be kind of a specific ask. We have all these asks, so we're trying to keep them separate, but very exciting. Hold on, Ed, and then John. Oh. He knows more than I do, so I'm going to let him talk because that might answer your question. Ed.
I'll show you a couple slides, but the 180,000 is what we have a gap currently. Right, for the organ. If the pledges come in, that shrinks to, if I remember right, 90,000. So just want to make sure that people know, if we come through with our pledges, which we all normally do, the gap is not as big.
Yep, good. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Ed.
Okay, so Mike, I question when you talk about dust sensitivity of the organ and disrupting or redoing this area for the stage coming out, are we doing anything with the rest of the church floor? So we're not resurfacing or redoing the floor after the organ's put in, increasing a bunch of maintenance.
Sheldon or Mark Hansen?
Yeah, part of the whole thing will be resurfacing or sanding and buffing and revarnishing the floor. That's a routine periodic maintenance in our maintenance.
We did that, about 5 years ago?
5 years ago. It's good.
Yeah, so it'll happen at the same time.
The flooring that you see, the parquet that's everywhere here, that'll be the same with the new extension. He'll just be doing the same thing right out to the edge.
And maybe the parquet pieces that are going to get pulled up can be sold for $5 each to the highest bidder, and then we can pay for the rest of the organ. Otherwise, I would entertain a motion, okay, by Bill Lorimer, and Andy Sackreiter is the second. Any other discussion? Oh, what is the motion? Do you have a formal motion? that we move forward with the extension to the Musician Area Project as proposed by the Oregon Support Committee. Based on the proposal, yes, based on 20,000. Sorry. Okay, any other discussion? Thank you, Kathy. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. All right, it passes. Thank you so much. Yay! Next on our agenda, the edge of your seat, I'm sure you're on the edge of your seat, is to elect delegates to the Synod Assembly at St. Andrews and Mahtomedi on Friday, May 15th and Saturday, May 16th. And Jen Olson is going to facilitate.
All right. For those of you who may not know, the Synod Assembly. Thank you. Thanks. I don't ever feel so short, except on this executive committee, apparently. So here we go. Oh, now I've messed it up. Okay. We're part of the St. Paul Area Synod as a church body. The Synod Assembly happens every year, every spring. It's a gathering of the legislative authority of the Synod. Voting members from all of the congregations gather to engage in conversation and to vote on resolutions that are usually brought up through the churches. And we elect a bishop this year, a new bishop. We also elect, do we always elect Synod Council members? Is that sometimes? So there are some elections, you should know. The most important one, perhaps, is that we elect a new bishop this year. So if you attend, you have an opportunity to interact with other members of churches in our synod, and it's an opportunity to engage with the work of the church. So we, based on our size, we have delegates based on the size of our organization, of our congregation. We have 4, 3 delegates and 1 alternate, or we need to pick 4, 3 and 1 alternate. They have asked, and this is very consistent with how it's been for many years, for 1 male identifying candidate and 1 female identifying candidate. The 3rd delegate and alternate can be of any gender identity. At this time, we do have 2 people who have indicated an interest, so I wanted to share those names with you. Mike Ressler is interested in attending and Ian Reisner is also. Reisner? Am I saying it right? Sorry, Reisner, sorry. Okay. Says his partner. I love it. Okay. So we would love to know if there's anyone, we would accept nominations from the floor for a female identifying and then an alternate as well. So anyone interested? Okay. I accept your nomination, unless there's someone else that really wants to. Oh, and then if we could have formal nominations for Mike and Ian. That was interest that came. Katie, Lane, and John Berger, and Kathy, seconds both. You got that, John? And then we need 1 alternate. Go ahead, Solveig. Oh, so who we have right now? Ian Reisner? Yes? Okay. Mike Ressler, Jen Olson Kringle. We need 1 more for alternate. And 1 more alternate. It's going to be fun. Okay. Thank you, Nikki. Oh, Nikki? Okay, Nikki Sperry. Alternate, yes. Nick, do you want to say?
I was just going to say, I attended last year kind of on a whim because no one else was volunteering, really, is what it came down to. And I don't regret it. It was really actually like a very formative moment for me as a Lutheran. So if you haven't done this kind of thing, if you haven't been a representative of your church, it is a great opportunity to be in community with other Lutherans and just see the good that we're doing. So yeah, I was just going to say, don't volunteer reluctantly. It's actually a pretty meaningful thing. So.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Nick Lane.
Toya.
I was gonna say, as
the official representative of this church on Senate Council and Senate Exec Council. That would be me. If you have any questions about the experience and you've never done it before, this will be my second year on Senate Council. I've also been to Churchwide. If you don't understand sort of the higher, just kind of the more, I guess, I don't know, the governance, yes, how the whole process works, you know, talking about resolutions and memorials, et cetera, I'm happy to have a discussion with anybody who's never been, who wants to go, because it's super, it's a great experience to understand how, what we always say in Senate Council, how we become church together, what that really means for an overarching body, right? It's not just about what we do here, it's about what is happening all over, and it's really good to stay informed and know what that is.
Thank you. Thank you, Toya. All right, so at this time, I would entertain a motion to close the nominations. Nick Lane. Second, Toya. All in favor of this motion to close the nominations, say aye. Any opposition, say nay. The motion passes and the nominations are closed. So now we have to vote on the slate of nominations. So the slate of delegates are as follows. Mike Ressler, Ian Reisner, one of these days I'll get it right, John Olson Kringle, and Nikki Sperry as the alternate. Toya. Second by Nick. All in favor of this motion to accept the slate as presented, please say aye. Any opposition, say nay. The motion passes and the Senate Assembly delegates are elected. Thank you. All right, we'll go through a similar process for our delegates, or for the Ling Bloomston delegates. For those of you who might not be familiar with Ling Bloomston is an elder care center in the Como Park neighborhood, with which we've had a long-standing relationship. Were we a founding congregation? Is that a true statement, or? Yes, okay. So through that, it's been around for over 100 years, maybe 125. Didn't we just celebrate that at some point? It's coming. So we have a slate of folks who have been our representatives, and they are interested in continuing that. So I'd like to give you that list of delegates, and we won't take nominations from the floor unless there are any questions. So the slate of delegates are as follows: Catherine Eklund, David Hansen, Jean Larson, Solveig Storhoff, and Karin Erickson. And everyone has been a delegate for us in previous years. So I don't know if anyone wants to say anything. Okay. I will entertain a motion to approve the slate as presented. Someone like to? All right, Lisa. And second from David, thank you. All right, all in favor of the motion to approve this slate of delegates for Ling Bloomston, please say aye. And any opposition, please say nay. That motion passes and those delegates are elected to continue. Thank you very much. And now back to Kristen.
All right. Oh, isn't that fun? What diversity we have on this executive team. Thank you. That's good. All right. Thank you for that. I now want to invite John Berger back up. We're going to talk about our Meeting the Moment mission appeal. And who knew that theme would be so apropos moving forward. So we're going to talk about meeting the moment, and we'll try and be clear about what we mean. But this is going to be every day right now. We're meeting the moment. So go ahead with your updates.
All right, just a couple of quick slides to show where we're at. This is, I call the results after year 2.5. We're coming up to the end, which was in April, May timeframe. So the bottom line here is our pledges were 1.2 million roughly, split 10% to music, 50% to service, 40% to the organ. Off to the right here, we have dedicated organ giving. So some of our members gave directly to the organ. Those pledge totals are showing on the first line. The giving as of the end of the year is showing on the second line. I want to point out that we're at about 82% fulfillment of pledges at this point for the 3 years. So as right after we wrap this up, I'll be working with Kristen to do some reports. We'll be sending out to anybody that pledged where you're at, basically, and what the gap might be to complete before the end of the campaign. So you'll be well aware of that. Down here, you can see what's been spent in each of these categories. And as you probably know, our 10% music money is now dedicated to Joyful Noise, right? Our organ money obviously goes to the organ. And then we have the service money. The service money, we spent $100,000 for an East Side child care center. We spent some money on some other things, but there's a good amount of money there, $300,000 basically. So part of really the hope of the outreach coordinator is to be someone who can help us coordinate, looking for ways to leverage that money in a great way for service, right? So, and our time as well. Time and money both contribute to how you have an impact on that with that service money. So we have about 300,000 there. We have about 80,000 in the music fund. We have just under 400,000 currently in the organ fund. If we switch to the next one, organ cash flows. So many of you know that the organ schedule was pushed out by 6 months, not due to anything we wanted, but due to the organ maker needing a little more time. That pushed our payments out. And let's see here. Yeah, I don't show it specifically here, but we have payments left to make. Basically, we're about 50% through in our payments. We have about we've made about $400,000 that's what our current balance is. Sorry, we have about, let me look here. Yeah, 579. I couldn't see it from that action. So about 580,000. We have payments in August 26, May, and August of 27. So those are the next 3 payments. We're in good shape to make the first one. We are close to making the second one. We have about $183,000 gap currently. And as I mentioned before, if all the pledges come in as we hope and expect, the gap will shrink to 93,000. Now, I will expect that number to go up. For one reason, we just approved a musician extension that'll add another 20,000. And I expect there might be costs, unknown costs in terms of cleaning up the space and installing the organ. So we'll get more clarity in terms of exactly what we'll need as we get these quotes. Oh, yeah. Kristen reminded me that we have already dedicated 10% of the current balance for service to create a sort of a super fund for the pastors, a $30,000 fund where they can use it to their discretion to help in these times of need, primarily in service projects. So that one I didn't show there, but it has been kind of reserved for that. Anyway, this 93,000, likely it's going to go up a little bit. We'll get better numbers on that as we can. But good news is it's a manageable amount.
Any questions on the meeting the moment balances and state of that appeal? Dave?
So the amount of pledges, there are additional contributions that people who have the pledge above the pledge that would show up if it's already happened, given, but that could potentially reduce.
Yes.
Yep.
People get dedicated.
We could be over.
It could.
Everybody comes to the pledge.
Yeah, I would not turn down a gift ever, right? I'll take, and we'll put it in the bank. But yes, there are some people have completed their pledging already. There are some people who have not gotten there. Yes, they've completed their pledges. They've given above, maybe to the organ, maybe just because they wanted to give. So there's the pros and cons. And that's what the reports, when my report is overall but when you each get your report, it'll say exactly where you're at. And if you want to hit over 100%, we can definitely do that. In fact, from the Oregon perspective, as it was mentioned, we're going to have to. The pledge alone will get us within 90,000, give or take, but we need more, and that's where the directed appeal for the Oregon will come later in 26.
Any other comments, questions? Beautiful. Can we celebrate how much cool stuff we're doing? Woo! And because we passed our 2026 budget, we already are well on our way to hiring an accompanist because we trusted you to vote the right way. And also, we all have an active working document for outreach coordinator that we're doing. So we want to get on this train and go. So we thank you for that. Is there any old business for this body? Excellent. Under new business, I want to share with you some work that we're doing with the executive team and the Immigration Refugee Committee.